Hey everyone, welcome to the Reddit branch. Today we have interesting stories from Reddit that I would love to hear your opinion about. So feel free to let me know what you think down in the comment section. If you enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for content like this every day. First story. My son and nephew, 11 and 9, damaged the car with rocks. I was watching my nephew at my house 2 weekends ago, San Diego, California, and they went out to play. When my sister came back to get her son, we called them. Fast forward to that evening, we get a knock. It's the neighbor from a street over. We talked to him once before years ago because my son hit one of his plants with his bike and destroyed his yard before. He says they threw rocks at his car and damaged it. My husband brings our son out who swears up and down this never happened. They were outside and not together and he heard the bang and ran home. Well, my nephew says they were outside and together when they heard the bang and ran back. My husband says he believes our son and needs evidence. The next day, 2 sheriffs show up about the same issue. Our son is basically so scared that he's about to pass out. He says it was his cousin. When confronted with this, his cousin became very upset and came clean, but also said that my son definitely threw a few rocks, but my nephew threw the most. We talked to the neighbor. He's so cool. He says he knows a guy and can probably get the windshield, shattered by rock, fixed for under $200. He does body work and offers to handle that himself for free. He's just trying to move out of here and was trying to sell the car for the cash to leave. Awesome. 2 days ago, the neighbor showed up and gave us an estimate. The body damage was too severe and he couldn't fix it himself. The estimate is over $6,000. They totaled it. He says he will pay $3,000 if we pay $3,000. I look up the value of the car and it's worth $4,000 in perfect condition. All 2008 Mercury. So I suggest we offer to just buy it off him if it's about the $3,000 to help him out cause this seems insane. We cannot afford this. This is like 2.5 months' rent, but our son and nephew are idiots and this poor guy didn't deserve it. My husband goes to speak with the neighbor today, plot twist time, and asks what he wants for the car. He says it's his son's property they live on and his son's car. His son wants to sell it for $10,000. My husband said no way. Here is the Kelly Blue Book value. He tested drives it. It's messed up mechanically and the inside was used as a spit cup for tobacco chew. Not gonna happen. Then the neighbor says this isn't our car, it was an older roommate car who abandoned it and we haven't been able to get a hold of him in years. He was trying to sell it for $700. Now what? I don't want to pay someone for damage to a car they don't own and have no title or any real claim to the car until they file a lien. Also, technically they lied to the cops saying it was their vehicle and the entire time until today when it suddenly wasn't when we offered to buy the vehicle. People replied in the comments with, I would drop it completely. The guy lied about everything. At this point, he has no skin in the game and the car is worthless without a title. There is no evidence beyond he said, she said. He's grabbing at straws from you. It's not worth the headache of getting caught up in. Walk away, don't talk to him anymore. Make copies of the police report, sneak over and get some photos of the car including the VIN, write down a copy of this narrative complete with your neighbor's attempt to scam you. Then tell him you will settle with the car's owner for the fair market value, accounting for the pre-existing condition if they can prove ownership with a California title. Then ignore him unless he actually sues you in a small claims court. Californians can be liable for damage done by children under your supervision when they do intentional property damage. There is a $25,000 maximum cap, but many California homeowners insurance policies will pay up to $10,000. It's not this guy's car, so there is nothing to worry about legally or financially. The owner of the car would have to pursue it. At this point, it is fair to say this is sketchy. If you put this in writing with proof that you are the owner of the car, I will consider it. I'll leave it at that. For example, if he's not the owner and you pay him off and he pockets the money, what's to stop the real owner from coming back later and asking for restitution for the damage? At this point, the real owner would be entitled to recover and you would be stuck paying twice. Next story. Can I vaccinate without other parents' consent? So, my ex and I have been divorced since 2015. We have joint custody, shared legal decision making on everything. He's refusing to honor this and does not include me on any decisions. He also has not allowed me to see them since August. I am taking him to court over this and hoping to get them for the summer, then go from there. 2 jurisdictions involved. He lives in Texas, where the legal case is. I live in Tennessee, where they will be staying when I want to get them vaccinated. He's completely anti-vax, and they have never received any vaccines, 11 and 12. I used to be, then did research after leaving him and have changed my stance. Can I get them vaccinated when they come visit me without his permission? People replied in the comments with, if you're taking him to court, I assume you have retained an attorney. They will be the person most versed in the facts, details of your case, and be able to provide you the answer best suited to the specifics of your case. Typically, any disagreement about non-emergency medical decisions would have to be discussed in court and/or lead to the appointments of a guardian ad litem. I completely understand why you want to do this, but you shouldn't do so without asking your attorney first, since you're already going back to court because he isn't following the order. You not following it as well could cause issues. Your lawyer will absolutely know best and will be able to tell you if you should/when you will be able to if or when the custody order changes. Next story, Michigan. My cousin's baby daddy took her daughter and won't give her back. He isn't on her birth certificate as her father and he doesn't have partial custody or anything of her. We don't know where he lives because he moved and the police will not help. We have police in the family and they said there is nothing that can be done. It's just a waiting game to see if he will bring her back. She isn't attending school while she's there either, so I was thinking maybe a truancy thing could allow police to get involved. My cousin also knows that she can take him to court, but she doesn't have the money to pay for it, so she's looking for other options first. People replied in the comments with, this is a straight up kidnapping, and rather than presenting it to the police as a custody issue, you need to make it clear as such. He's an ex-boyfriend who may or may not be the father, is not listed on the birth certificate, and has no right whatsoever to the child. Her only option is to go to court. Take her to the courthouse and pay the $25 to file an emergency order. Next story, can I sue? So I got an oil change at a Jiffy Lube not too long ago. This was the first oil change ever done to my brand new 2020 Dodge Ram 1500 Laramie Eco Diesel truck. I drove another 7,000 miles after this oil change and went back to the same Jiffy Lube to get another. The mechanic there told me he did not have the oil filter for my truck and it would cost over $100 in over an hour to receive it after the cost of an oil change. I showed him my receipt from my last oil change and he told me he did not know the person who performed it and he couldn't do it. I naturally thought he was messing with me, so I left. I then went to a Valvoline Express and got an oil change. A day later, my oil pressure light came on. I went to the dealership to see what was going on. They took my truck in and called me a few days later saying the wrong oil filter was installed by both oil shops. This caused metal shaving all throughout my engine. Now I need an entire new engine which costs over $13,000. If I try and drive my truck, I will lose control of my steering and brakes. I called Jiffy Lube, which my dealership said I should because they are at fault, and Jiffy sent an inspector who denied my claim because I went to a Valvoline. After Jiffy's denial, I went to the Valvoline. The mechanic threw a fit and took out an oil filter from a box and shoved it in my face, saying they put the correct one in and I was wrong. I then presented the proper paperwork, showing it was in fact not the correct filter. The mechanic said he could do nothing for me as the manager was unavailable that day. I returned the next day to speak with the manager, and the manager then informed me he did not even change my oil filter because he did not have one. My receipt says the oil filter was completed and they never once in the shop said they didn't have an oil filter for my truck. I would never get an oil change, let alone pay $150 without a new oil filter. Jiffy Lube is definitely to blame for my engine crashing, and Valvoline was shady and provided me with false receipts and triggered my oil filter. Neither wants to take responsibility. My brand new truck with 13,000 miles on it is leased and needs to be turned in. I have spent countless dollars on getting to work, oil changes that have wrecked my truck, rentals, etc. People replied in the comments with, You need your insurance involved. They will get a lawyer and make it more real. I used to handle claims all the time. Nothing is truly denied, believe me. Things can go through the ringer a few times. Also note it's not gonna get solved fast. The fact that now two businesses are roped and whether one is more at fault than the other takes a lot of coordination and corporate waiting to go through. Also, never use either of them unless you are desperate and have the most standard issue car ever, such as a Civic or a Camry. Go to a dealer or upstanding local mechanics and get an oil change/tire rotation at the same time. Most leases cover oil changes, but I'm guessing yours doesn't. If everything you have said is correct, it's probably time to make an insurance claim. The insurance company will provide a lawyer if a lawsuit is necessary. The original poster replied to this with, I made an insurance claim and they have been back and forth on whether or not it's included in a comprehensive claim. I don't think my insurance will cover this. A lawsuit seems to be my only option at this point. This concludes all the stories we have for this video. Thank you so much for watching and I hope you enjoyed it. Please feel free to share your opinions in the comment section down below. Until next time.